The dust is still hasn't even completely settled from President Trump's huge announcement yesterday that he plans to have Attorney General Pam Bondi literally take command of the Metropolitan Police Department. That is the police department that runs the local District of Columbia in Washington. And his executive order even went further than that, laying out finer details that he is also going to be deploying the National Guard there in our nation's capital to assist the Metropolitan Police in trying to bring crime down. So there's a lot of major developments, and the question is, what is all this going to mean in practice? And also, how can Congress partner with the president in addressing some of these crime issues in D.C.? Well, joining me now to discuss this is Congressman Clay Higgins. He's a member of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee, which, by the way, the two of us got to serve together on that committee. He's also a member of the Homeland Security Committee and the Armed Services Committee. He represents the 3rd Congressional District of the great state of Louisiana. He's also an Army veteran and a law enforcement officer. Congressman Higgins, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to see you.
Thank you, Jody. It's good to see you, sir.
All right. Well, you are a law enforcement officer, member of the Oversight Committee. Overall, what's your reaction to President Trump's takeover plan, if you will, of Washington, D.C. and the crime problem there?
Well, I wouldn't call it a takeover. I mean, he's following the law. He's going to abide by the existing law that allows the executive to control and greatly influence the Metropolitan Police Department for a period of time in one city in the entire United States. That's our capital. So our capital, should be the shining jewel, exemplifying the law and order and core principles of our nation. And under Democrat rule for as long as anyone can remember, certainly in the course of my life, is Washington, D.C. has been totally controlled by Democrats at the local level. So those policies have led to heinous crime and horrible conditions in our nation's capital. So maybe, Jody, the real question should be, good sirs, why have we allowed this to happen for so long in our country? I think it's very clear that we should take corrective action, and the president is doing just that, and he'll abide by the law in the process of restoring law and order and decency to our nation's capital. But, why did we as a people allow it to drift so far from the core principles that made our country great?
I think that's a great question. Great question. So your experience, I mean, you're there as a member of Congress now, but you also have tremendous experience in law enforcement yourself as well as military. So what have you witnessed there as far as areas that need improvement with the Metropolitan Police? What would you encourage, or what do you anticipate Attorney General Pam Bondi to do to try to help the Metropolitan Police Department there?
Well, the city, Jody, as you know, you're a regular visitor there, and we're always happy to see you. And I was honored to have served with you, sir. And we just serve our nation in a different capacity now. And I very much appreciate your current position and allowing me to speak to these things. I'm just a humble servant of we the people. So what I share regarding my observations are not political at all. As you know me pretty good, I don't even consider myself a politician. So just as an American citizen, a regular man, our nation's capital is exhibiting some of the worst things that you'll see in any city, anywhere. The crime, the nastiness that you'll see in the streets, the homeless men and women that just have dominant presence in areas where people come from to see our city from across the world. and it have homeless men and women there that are not only sort of present in the background that you might envision, but they are very much present and active in the foreground. They're doing nasty things. Let me just say, this is a family's core principle interview, so I'm going to refrain from describing some of these things in detail. But they're doing nasty things, and
Yeah.
and it's abhorrent to observe, and the crime is terrible. And I walk to the Freedom Caucus meeting every week on Flying Day, where we have our first meeting, which you've attended many. And I walk by myself, and I observe, and I'm gonna tell you, it's dangerous. Just that 3 or 4 blocks to walk off of the campus through the darkened streets of Washington D.C. is
Let me
dangerous
ask you
every
this.
time I do it.
Let me ask you this, Congressman Higgins, real quickly. We've only got about a minute or so left, but do you think this
really?
is going to potentially be the beginning of the end of home rule, and Congress literally takes back some authority in oversight of Washington, D.C.?
No, I don't think home rule will be overturned. I believe that the proper execution of home rule by the elected officials of Washington D.C. will be enforced, because their failures will be highlighted. We're going to restore law and order and decency so quickly in Washington, D.C., that we, the people, are going to say, well, why hasn't that already been accomplished by the people who run D.C., the elected officials at the local level? So they'll be forced to perform, I believe.
Well, we're all going to keep a very close lookout on this. I want to thank you, Congressman Clay Higgins, for your expertise, for your insights, for your tremendous leadership in Louisiana, as well as Washington, D.C., and our country. Thank you so much for joining us today on Washington Watch.
Thank you, Jody. God bless you, sir.